Coming up on this edition of Hawkeye News.
With all the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina in August, Americans all over the country are being asked to lend a hand in the relief efforts. This month, the good students of Red Oak High School and around the district have joined together to help raise much-needed money for the American Red Cross. We'll have information on how you can help.
Plus, students from Red Oak High School and around the district also joined together for the national event See You at the Pole. Hawkeye News reporter Leslie Rangel will have a full report about this student-led day of prayer that is observed across the United States. A full report coming up later in our show.
Also, Red Oak is again moving from a small town into what many feel will someday be a city of over 40,000 residents. New houses are popping up everywhere, and along with it come new restaurants and other businesses that are eager to fill the need for Red Oak citizens. We'll take a look around town and see some of these new locations straight ahead.
Red Oak recently held its annual Founders Day celebration at Old Town Park, and Hawkeye News reporter Katie Sanglin was there to bring us an inside look at this year's festivities.
And finally, Hawkeye News crime reporter J.D. Foster returns with a follow-up report concerning steroid use. This month, J.D. recaps some important information covered last year in order to keep students and parents informed and aware of the dangers surrounding the use of steroids. News students can use, all coming up next on this edition of Hawkeye News.
You're watching Hawkeye News with Christian Henson, Natalie Hillary, Sports with Brady Sapp, news coverage from the Junior High Bureau with Lexi Below, and what's new at the WC with India Fernandez. Plus, academic and student life reports with our Hawkeye News team. Hawkeye News, leadership you can depend on. Hawkeye News starts now.
Welcome to this edition of Hawkeye News for September 2005. I'm Christian Henson.
And I'm Natalie Hillary. September was a busy month in Red Oak ISD, and we have lots to bring you as we approach the holiday season.
Over the past month, we've seen many heartbreaking images on TV as our nation tries to recover from the tragic aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. We here at Hawkeye News send our thoughts and prayers to the many families who have lost loved ones during this vicious act of Mother Nature.
That's right, Christian. We also want to give thanks to those paramedics, police, firefighters, and all who are volunteering to aid in the search and rescue efforts.
Hawkeye News is committed to bringing you more news and stories from across the district during this month's extended team coverage.
First, we go to Hawkeye News anchor Katie Sanglin, who is on assignment this month and joins us from Founders Day Parade and festivities. Katie?
Thanks, Christian and Natalie. Founders Day is a community event held every year so the people of our community can come together and celebrate with a little food and fun. This year's Founders Day was held on September 10th, and the theme was Around the World. I'll have information on all the performances, the many different kinds of food and booths that benefited schools, churches, and other organizations around Red Oak. This event marks the 27th annual Founders Day celebration, and I'll have all the info on the parade and events held this day later in the show. Back to you, Natalie and Christian.
Thanks, Katie. We look forward to hearing about that and much more.
Plus, our extended team coverage continues with a look at what's to come on this edition of Hawkeye News.
In a recent national survey, 70% of student athletes said they had not received information about the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs while on their sports teams from their coaches. It is sometimes thought that coaches look the other way or perhaps even condone the use of these drugs. I'm J.D. Foster. Coming up in this month's Crime Report, we'll take our final look at the dangers of steroids and remind students and parents of their irreversible and sometimes deadly side effects. A full report later in our show.
I'm Leslie Rangel, just outside Red Oak High School, where students from around the district join together for a national event held each September. Coming up, I will have a full report on a student-led day of prayer that is observed across the United States called See You at the Pole. Details on why this event takes place and the impact it has on students everywhere. But first, back to Christian and Natalie for this month's top stories.
It is no doubt that all of us have seen the many news reports of the total devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina in August.
Once again, through some of the hardest times in our nation, the good students of Red Oak High School and around the district have joined together to help raise much-needed money for the American Red Cross.
Recently, Hawkeye News learned that Mrs. Stephanie Gresham, a sociology, psychology, and U.S. history teacher, and the advisor this year for National Honor Society, made a call, and students from Red Oak IC began throwing their spare change and much more out to help so many families who have lost everything. The National Honor Society started the fundraising campaign on Thursday, September 8th, and will bring you a final tally of money raised in our October show.
Many of our ROISD family have been affected by this disaster, and the NHS and Student Council would like to try and help. It is awesome to see how other organizations and departments around Red Oak High School are jumping in to help. We learned that Ms. Gatlin, the cosmetology director, recently joined in to help in the relief efforts by donating all money earned from our salon services to the Red Cross as well. Here's a list of days and services cosmetology is offering.
We would like to thank Mr. Shupman and, of course, Mrs. Gresham for all their efforts to give us a chance to once again show that Red Oak IC cares about those in need.
Please remember, if you would like to donate to the Red Cross, you can always do so by calling 1-800-HELP-NOW.
Once again, students from Red Oak High School and around the district joined together for our national event, See You at the Pole, held recently. See You at the Pole is a student-led day of prayer that is observed across the United States, and Hawkeye News reporter Leslie Rangel is on location to tell us more about this year's event. Leslie?
On Wednesday, September 21st, there were quite a bit of students gathered around the school's flagpole before school. But what were they doing? They seemed to be talking to the flagpole, but in reality, it was an incredible profession of their faith. This event is called See You at the Pole, where students from all over the country and even the world gather to pray. See You at the Pole is a student-led event that began in Burleson, Texas in 1990. Members of a youth group were having a weekend retreat, and that night they were burdened to go and pray for their fellow classmates, teachers, schools, and families. So, they met at all the flagpoles of all the area's schools, considering almost every school had one, and they prayed. The first official event was on September 12, 1990 at 7 a.m., where more than 45,000 teens met at school flagpoles in 4 different states to pray. Since 1991, CU at the Pole has grown to God-sized proportions. Now there are reports of students gathering in several countries, including Italy, Japan, and Romania. This year's theme was Pray, Call to Me, based on Jeremiah 33:3, a passage from the Bible saying, "Call to me, and I will answer you, and I will tell you great and unsearchable things which you do not know." It's wonderful to see many students in our community taking a stand for what they believe in. The thought of a mere flagpole gathering students from all sorts of backgrounds, ethnicities, social standings, and ages to pray to one almighty God is incomprehensible. I'm Leslie Rangel reporting for Hawkeye News.
Thanks, Leslie. And again, while there are strict rules about church and state, student-led expressions of their faith are still allowed under certain guidelines. And it looks like a great turnout again this year.
As it is easy to see just by driving around the city, we continue to see that Red Oak is again moving from a small town into what many feel will someday be a city of over 40,000. New houses are popping up everywhere, and along with it come new restaurants and businesses that are eager to fill the need for Red Oak citizens. City officials have stated to the public that over 1,800 new homes are platted, meaning in the planning stages to be built over the next 12 to 24 months, just within the city limits of Red Oak. This does not include the rapid growth in Glen Heights and other areas that are located inside Red Oak ISD. On September 10th, citizens of Red Oak went to the polls to vote on $7.75 million worth of bonds in 3 propositions. Proposition 1 was for $4 million to do major street improvements within the city. This issue passed 259 for to 221 against. Proposition 2 was for $750,000 for a police fire substation and equipment, and this proposition passed 263 for and 219 against. The third was one that would have had a very positive effect on many Red Oak ISD students, and was for $3 million to build a sports complex and splash park. The final vote was 287 against to 196 for. Thus, this proposition failed and will not be built. City leaders were proud of the 2 items that passed, but sports associations and many who would have had the opportunity to play on top-quality baseball, football, and soccer fields were very disappointed at the vote. Many city officials have vowed to keep working on this project to someday soon have great facilities for students to enjoy athletics in the city of Red Oak. The bond election is not the only big news, as corporate chains of Walmart and Applebee's are just a couple of the big names that have made plans to build in Red Oak. We will keep you up to date with the building going on in the city and let you know what is headed our way in the coming months and years.
City officials plan to keep us up to date on what is new around Red Oak. If you would like to learn more, all city council meetings are open to the public and held on the second Monday of each month at the new City Hall building located across I-35 on Lakewood Drive. Stay in touch and get involved in your growing city. One of the most important events of the year for our seniors was recently held in late September. The annual College Night brought in many colleges and universities to give our seniors a first glance at what each has to offer. College Night is a big event for seniors who are looking to make a decision on where they may spend the next few years of their academic life after high school. Our counselor's office works hard to bring in colleges and universities, as well as others from the job market world, to give our students a good look at what they have to offer us for our futures. The counselors hope this event each year will continue to grow and become an important information session for Red Oak High School students. If you need more information about a particular college, you can talk to the counselor's office for helpful information and websites that will lead you to the information you need. Again, we thank the counselor's office for providing us the opportunity to help us help ourselves now and in the future.
One of the most popular segments last year was our elementary report. The report gives teachers and school staff an opportunity to give us the good news from around their elementary campuses each month. While everyone is off and running this month, we only received limited information, so we hope that you have much more next month in the elementary report. Shields Elementary featured paleontologists at work. The second graders in Miss Stanford's class at Shields Elementary recently tried their hand at paleontology. To go along with their science unit, the students learned how paleontologists use tools and patience to uncover fossils. The students then got hands-on experience trying to excavate chocolate chips from cookies. Pictured are Chase Hathaway, Julie Lopez, and Nicolette Smith hard at work. We know that Woodin is in the middle of their Hometown Heroes Month, so we look forward to hearing much more about it next month. And we'll check in with Red Oak and Eastridge Elementary next month as well to see what great things are happening on their campuses. Thanks to Miss Temple for providing the information from Shields this month.
Red Oak recently held its annual Founders Day celebration at Old Town Park. Hawkeye News reporter Katie Sanglin was there to check out the festivities firsthand and bring us this report from Founders Day 2005. Katie?
Thanks, Natalie and Christian. Founders Day, as you can see, is a big community-wide event held for the people of our community every year to come together for a little food, fun, and fellowship. This year's Founders Day was held on September 10th at the good Red Oak City Park. This year's theme was Around the World. Each year we start Founders Day off right by doing a huge citywide parade. The people who usually participate in the parade consist of various Pee Wee football and cheerleading teams, Red Oak soccer teams, other various organizations, and sports teams from our very own high school and junior high schools. After the parade, people from all over the community can be found having a big time at the Red Oak City Park. Throughout the day, you can watch different performances, eat many different kinds of food, shop at booths that benefit church, schools, and different organizations. Some people say Founders Day is a silly tradition, but without our founders, we wouldn't be living in our great town today. If you missed out on the festivities of Founders Day 2005, mark your calendars for the 2nd September in 2006, and don't miss out on a fantastic citywide celebration. I'm Katie Stanglin, Hawkeye News.
Thanks, Katie. It looks like once again Founders Day in Red Oak was a lot of fun for all in attendance. We'll see you next time.
This month's District in 60 Seconds is brought to you by Red Oak Car Wash, located at 311 East Ovilla Road.
This month in District in 60 Seconds, we get first news on Shattered Dreams 2006, a spirited look at Red Oak ISD police vehicles, and a new computer program at Red Oak ISD to help students and parents stay in touch with important academic information. In this segment, we at Hawkeye News call District in 60 Seconds. Shattered Dreams 06. Applications have now all been turned in, and the cast of Shattered Dreams 2006 will soon be announced. Alan J. Oliver Productions and Project Success Had It are once again joining up to bring this life-changing movie and event to Red Oak High School in the spring of 2006. ROISD PD gets a new look. Recently, students and staff have seen a new look at Red Oak ISD police vehicles with the incorporation of Drawing of the Hawk by Red Oak High School graduate Nathan Howard. This new look still has the distinctive white cars and maroon hood and trunks, all to show our officers have great pride in our school. From Red Oak ISD PD, go Hawks! Power School program coming to Red Oak ISD. Recently, the ROISD School Board approved the 2005-2006 school budget, which includes a new computer program called Power School. The program will allow teachers to have up-to-date grades and will allow students and parents to keep up with daily classroom assignments. The program will be rolled out over the 05-06 school year. ROPD Police Explorers take applications. Sergeant Langham and other officers of the Red Oak Police Department are working hard to put together a first-class law enforcement explorer post in Red Oak. If you are interested in law enforcement and becoming an explorer, contact Sergeant Langham, Corporal Brock, or Officer Moses. And that's your District in 60 Seconds.
Now it's time once again to check in with our sports anchor, Brady Sapp, to find out what is going on in the world of Hawks and Lady Hawk sports.
How are things going, Brady?
Well, ladies, we've already seen some highs and lows from our athletic teams as the seasons in football, volleyball, and cross country are in full swing. We will bring you highlights from all these sports as well as a special report from Hawkeye News sports reporters Curtis Kelsey and Brandon Scott at a new look for Billy Goodloe Stadium, all after a word from our sponsor.
This month's Hawkeye News Sports is brought to you by Danny Humphreys at State Farm.
Welcome back, Hawk sports fans. Let's talk sports. We start off this month with a look at our varsity Hawks football team, who's run into some very tough pre-district competition this year. The Hawks opened the season with a tough loss to Hewitt Midway by a score of 57-3 in a game that was scheduled for Red Oak but was played at Waxahachie due to construction delays to our stadium. The offense was unable to get on track, and the defense had their hands full all night with the high-powered Panthers offense. A bright spot for the Hawks was the spirited effort given by all our athletes. While the scoreboard was not what the Hawks and their fans expected it to be, it was evident that this group of Hawks would not lay down and die and would give it all the way as they had the entire game. The Hawks would then hit the road to Justin Northwest to take on another top 10 ranked team in the area, the Northwest Texans. The Hawks fought extremely hard and had the Texans wondering what had hit them as the Hawks answered each Texan score and had the game tied 21-21 at halftime. The Hawks never quit but found themselves once again trying to overcome a few mistakes and a few missed opportunities as the Texans would have a strong second half and would win the contest by a score of 37-26. The Hawks were led on offense by strong passing of quarterback Troy Elliott, who was 22 of 44, passing for a total of 237 yards. Rodney Cooper and Carl Sherman, who had 82 and 72 yards, respectively, led the ground game. Touchdowns were scored by Cooper, Elliott, Terrell Barnett, and Aaron Moore for the Hawks. The third game of the season would be a little different, as the varsity would play a Thursday game at Fort Worth Southwest instead of the normal Friday night venue. The Raiders, who handed the Hawks a big loss last year, were in for a fight from the Never Say Die Hawks of 2005. After falling behind in the first quarter, the Hawks fought back on a 7-yard touchdown run by Carl Sherman and had a 2-point conversion from Rodney Cooper to tie the score. The halftime score was knotted at 8 before Southwest took the lead and held it until the fourth quarter. The Hawks would hit their longest touchdown pass of the year as Troy Elliott hit Armando Lopez for a 31-yard touchdown pass to tie the game at 15. The Hawks looked like they are heading for their first overtime contest when the Raiders hit a 9-yard touchdown pass with just 31 seconds left in the game to take the game by a score of 22-15. The Hawks would finally get to test out the new turf at Billy Goodloe Stadium against our rivals from the West, the Midlothian Panthers. The Panthers, who entered the contest ranked number 18 in the Dallas Morning News polls, pulled off a little trickery on their first offensive play to set off a long touchdown. The Hawks' offense looked great at times, but while they held their own in the first downs and offensive yardage, the drives continued to stall, and the only score of the night came by the field goal of Ben Edwards. The game was tight in the first half and ended 7-3. The second half, the Panthers' offense hit stride, and the final score was the Panthers 28, our Hawks 3. In Lady Hawks volleyball action, the team has continued to impress what was thought to be a rebuilding year team, turning into a top 10 ranked team in the area in Class 4A. At press time, the Lady Hawks hold an 18-win, 11-loss record, with many of those 11 losses coming from 5A competition. The team leading hitter, Emily Hollenbeck, is among the area leader in kills, while Kelsey Bird has become an outstanding setter. Jill Cole, Kelly Osborne, Justine Pruitt, and Avery Leonard have been tough from the service line, while Brittany Person and Dana Hilsendagger have also done a great job as leading blockers along with Hollenbeck. The Lady Hawks have recently been hit hard by injuries, including a big blow dealt to the team with the car accident which injured Sheridan Pearson. The team does have several players nursing injuries, but as always, our Lady Hawks make no excuses and look to notch another District 14 4A title in the coming weeks. We will bring you an update on the first half of district play next month.
Thanks, Brady. You're right. The field looks nothing like before. No more mowing, watering, or avoiding holes in the ground. It's smooth sailing from now on for the Hawks as they look to take many trips into the end zone.
That's right, Curtis. And it doesn't hurt as much when you get knocked to the ground either.
The new turf was completed just in time for the freshmen. Yes, the freshman teams to see if they could notch the first win on their new surface. And they did a great job of breaking it in. In the process, they may have gotten the new look of Goodloe Stadium ready for many big wins to come. The turf is the latest technology in field turf, with not only the softest surface, but also the safest artificial surface you can buy. This field rivals that of many professional football teams, and will last for years to come. In watching the progress of the field, it was evident that everything had to be done just right, from the proper digging out of the soil to the hard surface below, all the way to the final rubber pellets that keep the turf soft and safe.
The yard lines and yardage markers are easy to spot not only on the field, but in the stands, as well as in the press box that will sit high above the stadium. The teams will be able to practice on the same field they will host games on, which will help players get used to the new surface and will hopefully create even more of a home field advantage. This surface will allow players to go 100% without fear of bad footing areas on the playing field. Not only will it help the players, it is really awesome to see from the stands. The field will save a great deal in mowing, watering, and seeding costs. This surface should also be free from insects that many times would make their home in the old natural grass surfaces.
The new look comes with the new attitude of the Hawks football program, and Hawk fans should be ready for some awesome football from Coach Edelman and his staff, and our football athletes this year and years to come.
That's right. And back to the first games played on the new turf. Remember the name Hank Henderson as a trivia answer to what Hawks scored the first touchdown on new turf at Goodloe Stadium. Not only did Hank score the first, but for good measure, the second and third touchdowns. Way to go, Hank. We hope you are celebrating in that end zone this year and the next 3 to follow. And by the way, both 9th grade teams and our JV wore out the Fort Worth Raiders that opening night on the new turf. Now we look forward to seeing much more from all our teams in the future. Reporting for Hawkeye News, I'm Brandon Scott.
And I'm Curtis Kelsey. Brady, we're heading to see if we can score the first touchdown by a Hawkeye News reporter. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, guys. We thought Robert and Jared were nuts last year. See you guys in October. That should be fun. Halloween episode with Curtis and Brandon. And speaking of fun, our boys cross country team has been having a lot of fun, as if it's possible to have fun while running. As Coach Foster told Hawkeye News, the teams are doing a great job, and after daily morning practices that start at 6:45 in the morning, the team has got off to a solid start and has been competing against some of the top teams in the area. In the first meet, the Green Hill Relay, we finished 28th out of 57 teams. The second meet, held at Burleson, the varsity finished 9th out of 33 teams, and the JV finished 8th out of 32 teams. Both of those meets were big-time meets to the boys, so Coach Foster feels they have done great so far. The third meet was the Kearns meet, held in Corsicana, and the team finished first place out of 13 teams, with Travis Berlin taking first place overall, followed closely by teammate Hector Lopez, who finished just over a minute behind Berlin in third place. The team has meets in Ennis, Waxahachie, Molina, and Grace Prep in Arlington coming up after press time. The all-important district meet will be held October 26th in Corsicana, with the Hawks planning to make another trip to regionals at the regional meet, which will be held in Arlington on November 5th. The Hawks have 7 varsity runners back from last year from a team that has won 3 straight district titles. The team feels with continued hard work, the Hawks will make it 4 in a row in October. Coach Foster said we had 11 new runners out this year, for a total of 23 runners on the team. At the Burleson meet, Travis Berlin was 29th out of 262 runners at the varsity level. Hector Lopez was 49th, and Matt Walker was 67th. The JV was led by Michael Hentz, who was 41st out of 320 runners, Preston Davis, who was 45th, Bobby Kowalski, who was 65th, and Andy Palmer, who was 68th. While cross country is rarely recognized by the student body, these athletes work as hard, if not harder than any, to represent our school in this grueling sport. Best of luck to the teams as they work hard to hang another district championship this year. We will have more next month on our Lady Hawks cross country team under the direction this year of Coach Joel Zuniga. We will also take a look next month at our tennis teams as they kick off their season after our press time. And that does it for another busy month of sports. Thanks once again to Ms. Stangle for providing scores and information. Thanks also to our coaches and of course our student athletes for representing Red Oak High School with class and pride. That's it from the Sports Center this month. See you in October. Back to you, Natalie and Christian.
Thanks, Brady. We'll see you next time.
Each month, we like to find out what's going on at Red Oak Junior High, and we welcome back our junior high correspondent, Lexi Belote, to give us the good news from the Red Oak Junior High in this segment we call Junior High in Review. Lexi?
Thanks, ladies. In this month's Junior High in Review, we take a look at how our 7 class periods a day have become 8 and check in and get an update on our Junior High Hawk sports and see how Red Oak Junior High students are helping out new local families in need who have been relocated to Red Oak due to Hurricane Katrina. This year, instead of advisory, Red Oak Junior High has an 8th period. This way, there is an extra tutoring period to prepare for the tax test. Students who don't need tutoring get to pick another elective. The new schedule is working out great so far. We hope the changes will add up to better tax scores for Red Oak Junior High this year, and as always, we encourage all our awesome Red Oak Junior High students to do your academic best. In sports news, our junior high volleyball has soared off to a great start this year. The 8th grade volleyball A team has won every game so far at press time, and B team has lost only one match. The Hawks are doing awesome and on the road to a very successful season. Great job and keep up the good work. We will check back in with our volleyball teams next month, as well as seeing how things are going for our 7th and 8th grade football teams as well. Red Oak Junior High teacher Miss Katrina and I, along with others in our school, are heading up a fundraising drive here at Red Oak Junior High to help with the needs of several families who have fled to Red Oak in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Several new students are said to be checking into Red Oak ISD schools, and many more are expected. With all the fundraising drives for the American Red Cross, Miss Knight and members of HADIT began taking up money to help out the victims who have lost everything and who are at least temporarily, if not permanently, going to be new residents of Red Oak. We commend Miss Knight along with the other teachers and sponsors and of our course of Red Oak Junior High students for giving to those in a great time of need. It could have been any of us, and it is great to know our students really do care about their fellow man. We welcome any of those who are now a part of the Red Oak ISD student body who fled from Louisiana, Mississippi, and other states affected, and wish you the best here in Red Oak. Please let me know if you have any great story ideas from the junior high, and thanks for watching. Until October, I'm Lexi Below, and that's your junior high interview. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Lexi. We look forward to hearing more from the junior high next month.
This month, we check back with Hawkeye News reporter India Fernandez to see what's new at the WC.
If there's one thing all ISD is sure to have, it's great, inspiring teachers. All of the teachers and staff around our district are truly special to each and every one of us. They all play very important roles on our success in the future. But there is one teacher who is a perfect example of a true leader and is also an inspiration to all, Miss Mary Massett. In October of 2004, Miss Massett was diagnosed with a lifetime disease called renal failure, which is the failure of your kidneys. Because of this, 3 days out of the week, Miss Massett must undergo a process called hemodialysis. Hemodialysis is the procedure used to purify the blood during kidney failure. Without it, you have no chance of survival. Unlike many of the thousands who suffer from renal failure, Miss Massett is determined to stay strong and continues to live her life to the fullest. As Ms. Massett enters her 9th year of teaching and her 2nd year of dialysis, she continues to fight and holds on to hope. Ms. Massett is such an inspiration to so many people, including myself, because of her strength and her determination to keep on going no matter what may come her way. Thank you, Ms. Massett, for allowing us to share this very touching and encouraging story. And thanks to all the teachers around the Red Oak District for supporting us in our dreams and for leading us on our road to success. Reporting from the WC, I'm India Fernandez, Hawkeye News.
Last year, you'll remember Hawkeye News crime reporter J.D. Foster bringing us some important facts about the use of steroids.
This month, JD continues his in-depth report on steroid use and abuse and reminds us about the dangerous side effects and consequences of using this drug. JD?
Christian and Natalie, last year we briefly discussed the side effects of roids to alter moods. We told you that these drugs, while increasing muscle strength, can also cause irritability and aggressiveness, not to mention negative changes to physical appearance. This month, I take a final look at steroids and remind students and parents that the best way to reach championship levels is good old-fashioned hard work. In a recent national survey, 70% of student athletes said they had not received information about the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs while on their sports teams from their coaches. And, while not stated here, it is sometimes thought that coaches look the other way or perhaps even condone the use of these drugs. Some of you may be wondering, what is the big deal? What are steroids and why would you use or abuse them? Anabolic steroids are artificial versions of a hormone that's in all of us, testosterone. That's right, testosterone is in girls as well as guys. Testosterone not only brings out male sexual traits, it also causes muscles to grow. Some people, often bodybuilders, take anabolic steroid pills or injections to try to build muscle faster. Anabolic means growing or building, but these steroids also have other effects. They can cause changes in the brain and body that increase risks for illness, and they may affect moods. You may have heard that some athletes use anabolic steroids to gain size and strength. Maybe you've even seen an anabolic steroid user develop bigger muscles over time. But while anabolic steroids can make some people look stronger on the outside, they may create weakness on the inside. For example, anabolic steroids can weaken the immune system, the body's defense against germs and diseases. They can also lead to liver damage or cancer, even in young people. They can also permanently stop bones from growing in teenagers. In guys, steroids can interfere with the normal production of testosterone and cause your testes to shrink, lower sperm count, and reproductive ability. They can cause an irreversible loss of scalp hair. In girls, they can also cause loss of scalp hair and cause the growth of body and facial hair and deepening of the voice. These changes are also irreversible. Some additional health risks associated with steroids include premature cessation of bone growth in adolescence, severe acne, hair loss, cysts, tumors, and cancer in liver, jaundice, yellowing of skin, tissues, and body fluids, high blood pressure, glucose intolerance, and insulin resistance. Some emotional disorders associated with use are increase in aggressive behavior, possibly leading to violence, distractibility and irritability, extreme or manic mood swings, paranoid jealousy, impaired judgment stemming from feelings of invincibility, depression, restlessness, and feelings of inadequacy during withdrawal. One local story inspired the Taylor Hooten Foundation. Formed in 2004, it was created in memory of Taylor E. Hooten, a 17-year-old high school athlete from Plano, Texas. Taylor took his own life on July 15, 2003 as a result of the abuse of anabolic steroids. Taylor Hooten played varsity baseball, had a girlfriend, plenty of friends, and did well in school. He seemed to be a regular guy, but Taylor used anabolic steroids, drugs whose consequences most teenagers are ignorant of. Taylor was a victim, not of any physical consequence such as premature cessation of bone growth, severe acne, hair loss, cysts, tumors, cancer, jaundice, high blood pressure, and glucose intolerance, but instead was victimized by one of the several emotional disorders associated with steroid use. Specifically, Taylor was experiencing depression resulting from withdrawal. The steroids caused Taylor Hooten to commit suicide. His family and friends took steps to ensure his death was not in vain, and the Taylor Hooten Foundation for Fighting Steroid Abuse was founded to combat the widespread ignorance of anabolic steroid use. The Taylor Hooten Foundation is the only private organization solely dedicated to educating the public of the dangers of steroid abuse to high school students, their parents, and their coaches and teachers. The foundation is proud of the leadership role they play in this battle as a responsible member of the national community. Taylor Hooten's promising life was not worth the supposed benefits of his killer. While our thoughts and prayers are still with his family, the time has come for action in his memory. The best way to fight this growing concern is right here, in Red Oak, at home. If we set our standards higher and work to prevent this in our own lives, then there is hope, and what better way to remember than to act? We here at Hawkeye News want to make sure you understand the dangers of steroids and to make sure no one here ruins or even loses their life from steroid use. Our coaches and administrators want to make it clear that Red Oak ISD athletics will be drug-free. No amount of wins are worth the loss of one of our student athletes. I'm JD Foster, Hawkeye News.
Thanks again, JD, and thanks to the Hooten family, not only for taking time to talk to us, but also for caring enough to continue the fight against steroid use in our country.
Well, that about does it for our September show.
We look forward to bringing you much more next month during our spectacular Halloween edition of Hawkeye News. We also wanted to remind you that we would really love to hear from you. So if you have any news ideas, comments, or suggestions, you can write us at hawkeyenews@redogisd.org or give us a call at 972-617-4312. I'm Christian Henson.
And I'm Natalie Hillary. Until next time, thanks for watching, and from all of us here at Hawkeye News,
make it a great day.